In 1900, high society women were the picture of refinement. Their days were filled with social engagements. They attended formal luncheons and afternoon teas. Their homes were filled with art, classical music, and fine china. Evenings were filled with balls, dinner parties, and the opera. The latest fashions included corsets, long skirts, and layer upon layer of clothing. Maintaining and retaining their beauty was of the greatest importance. Everything about being a woman of high society in 1900 was elegant, sophisticated, and refined. Everything describing a woman of high society in 1900 was not a description of Mary Fields. Mary was born enslaved in Hickman County, Tennessee. No one is even sure about the exact year, but it was believed she was born about 1832. She had little education. She likely couldn't leave the plantation without permission and lived in fear of constant physical punishment amidst dehumanizing conditions. At the age of 30, she was emancipated. With her newfound freedom, she migrated north along the Mississippi River, supporting herself as a servant and laundress to other traveling families. It was definitely not high society. Eventually, Mary made it all the way to Toledo, Ohio. There, she was given a job by the nuns at the Ursuline Convent of the Sacred Heart. Mary was not afraid of hard work. She'd been doing it all her life. At the convent, she became their groundskeeper and overall handywoman. But Mary didn't really fit in with the nuns. She smoked, she drank, she swore. Not exactly high society or even piety. She had an unpredictable temper, often cursing the nuns for walking across her beautiful manicured lawns. But Mary had a guardian angel at the convent, Mother Amadeus Dunn. Eventually, Mother Dunn was sent by the convent to start a school in Montana. But shortly after she arrived, she fell ill. When Mary heard of Mother Dunn's illness, she immediately left for the Wild West in the Big Sky country of Montana to take care of Mother Dunn in the convent there. Mary quickly took to the unstructured lifestyle of the Wild West. It seemed to stoke many of Mary's questionable habits. Even though she helped nurse Mother Dunn back to health, the nuns of the convent couldn't deal with the increased smoking, cursing, and Mary's wearing men's clothing. It was said she had the temperament of a grizzly bear. The final straw came when, during an argument, she pulled a revolver on the janitor. Mary was called in by the bishop and dismissed from the convent. Mary, however, was a survivor. And in 1895, she made a name for herself when she accepted a contract for employment at age 63. That year, the United States Post Office opened the Star Route and awarded Mary a contract to deliver the mail in Montana. Using a stagecoach donated by her saintly friend, Mother Dunn, Mary became known as Stagecoach Mary. Her rough and tumble work ethic, temperament, and skill with firearms suited her perfectly. She finally seemed to find her true calling as a post office Star Route carrier. Her route was between Cascade and St. Peter's Mission. It was treacherous. Mile after mile of rocky, undefined roads. Blizzards came in the winter, mud in the spring, dust in the summer, and unrelenting wind year-round. Wild animals were a constant threat. And along the way, there seemed to be more bandits than settlements. But with a rifle across her lap and a pistol attached to her hip, Mary cut an imposing figure sitting alone atop the stagecoach. And only the foolish would challenge her because her firearms weren't just showpieces. She was a skilled markswoman and wouldn't hesitate to prove it. She drove her route like she lived her life. Hard. Winters in Montana are among the coldest and most treacherous in the world. The snows come early and often. When the snow was deep and the drifts massive, Mary would ditch her stagecoach, strap on snowshoes, and walk for miles with the mail on her back. Rain, sleet, or snow could not keep her from her appointed rounds. Her grit and motivation kept a lifeline of communication open between local businesses, government officials, friends, and relatives. Stagecoach Mary's work did not go unnoticed among the people around Cascade, Montana. Larger than life on the trail, she was even bigger and more celebrated by the locals, who recognized and celebrated her strength, independence, and courage. Mary was so dedicated and dependable at her job that the United States Post Office contracted her for a total of 8 years as a star route carrier. Being known far and wide, Mary was often treated to complimentary meals at restaurants and free drinks at saloons. She in turn was generous with her many friends. So beloved was Mary that the town's local baseball team adopted her as the team's mascot. Friends would carry on conversations with her at the local establishments well beyond the posted closing times. Despite the horrific circumstances of her early years, Mary's legendary resilience never wavered. When she passed away at 82 years old, it was said that her funeral was the largest the town had ever seen. Mary Fields didn't live the life of high society. Far from it. But she made a mark in history and left a lasting legacy that most of the women living in high society could only dream of. She was a pioneer of the American West, a trailblazer, a symbol of resilience. She challenged racial stereotypes and discrimination. History will remember Mary as the first African-American woman to deliver the U.S. mail. Many words have been used to describe Mary Stagecoach Fields, but none may be as appropriate as the word grit. Grit. Pass it on. From passiton.com. If you enjoyed this bite-sized podcast, subscribe and pass it on to a friend. Passiton.com, the podcast, is available on your favorite platform.